protest in Russia today, which is unusual to see, to say the least. So why does a conflict 5,000 miles away matter here? We spoke with a professor at Augusta University about that.
Just on the world stage, it's a quasi-authoritarian regime taking over a democratic regime. So anytime that happens with a great power, you have to be concerned that that might only be the first move in this type of conquest.
If there is another attack involving those neighboring NATO states, Dr. Albert says the U.S. would be required to go to war, something he says we haven't seen since September the 11th. But it's not just a global problem. It's one that has huge impacts on the things we buy every day. We're working on a story right now, the economic ripple effect. You'll see that here in 15 minutes.
It really does affect a lot of things and a lot of places. Taking a look outside now, the Augusta Canal, another beautiful day. It is warm, weirdly warm. I'm getting a little too comfortable with this, and I do not like that the azaleas are starting to bloom. It is too soon, Riley. Too soon.
I know it. We are getting a real taste of spring out there. We actually have record-setting temperatures again this afternoon. We have made it as high as 88 degrees so far in Augusta, which sets the all-time record high for the month of February, and those records go all the way back to the 1800s. So record-setting heat for us this afternoon. We are down to 84 degrees at the moment, so not quite as warm as that record high that we did see earlier today, but most spots at least made it into the mid-80s, low 80s if you were north of I-20, but a very warm afternoon. Hopefully you've been able to get outside and enjoy this nice weather. We are in the upper 70s at the moment, up at the lake. Edgefield as well coming in at 79 degrees. Aiken, you're at 81. Some warm temps in the mid-80s still found across most of the southeastern river region. Now as we head through this evening, temps will stay fairly mild again, likely going to stay in the 70s and 60s all the way through midnight. Just a few passing clouds late tonight as we head into early tomorrow morning, likely going to see those temperatures down into the upper 50s. As far as temperatures for Friday, it is going to be a very warm day again. We'll likely see temps close to 80 degrees by the afternoon. It is going to be a little bit more windy, though, throughout the day on Friday. This is thanks to a cold front that will bring changes for the weekend. We'll have an update there in just about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Riley. The sign on the property once said, "Coming soon." Now it says, "Finally." AU still in the works, still on those plans for a new hospital in Columbia County. When we paid a visit back in 2020, Gateway Boulevard was still partially under construction, but a lot has changed since then, including that road opening. Meanwhile, AU Health still firming up their plans on that new location. They say nothing is set in stone yet because they're always evaluating new ideas, but they tell us one of their goals is to be an amenity for the community, and they're considering having gardens and trails on that new hospital site.
I mean, this has been a tough time for staff. How do we create spaces that allow the staff to be able to get away for a moment, to be able to, to bring that anxiety level down, or just have a place to go and be alone for a bit?
So coming up here on News 12 at 6 o'clock, Celeste Springer is going to give us a look at some of these new renderings of the plans. We'll give you a first look coming up.
Now to the tragic death of a 21-year-old college student from Bamberg. Police in New Orleans are still investigating what happened before she was dropped off at a hospital lifeless.
Friends say the last time they saw her alive, she was getting into an Uber for a ride. Emily Ikeda hears from family now and bring us the latest on the investigation.
Kaya Whetstone's family and friends demanding answers following her mysterious death over the weekend. The 21-year-old from South Carolina was a junior at the University of New Orleans. Police reporting early Saturday a private conveyance dropped her off at a hospital where she was pronounced dead. Just hours earlier, friends say they saw Kaya getting into an Uber after a night celebrating Mardi Gras, according to local reports. It's not clear who took Kaya to the hospital, and right now police consider this an unclassified death. But NBC News has learned Uber launched an investigation into the incident, adding that it has deactivated a driver's account. In a statement, the ride-sharing company says, "Our thoughts are with Kaya Whetstone's family as they grieve the loss of their daughter," adding, "We stand ready to assist law enforcement with their investigation." We spoke with her heartbroken stepfather on the phone, who said he did not want to speculate about what happened.
I don't want to make any accusations or assumptions. When I get the full story, then we'll proceed.
How would you describe Kaya?
I'd classify it in one word, it would probably be angel. She had a way of her acceptance and finding the good in people was just beyond words.
Back in 2019, Uber ramped up safety measures following the murder of a South Carolina college student who mistakenly got into a car thinking it was her ride. The chief of legal and security telling NBC News at the time,
You will never hear me say that we have done enough on safety.
According to the company, from 2017 to 2018, only a small fraction of Uber trips had a report of a critical safety incident. Still, experts urge passengers to always follow basic safety rules before getting into any rideshare, like riding in the back seat, asking the driver, "Who are you here for?" sharing trip details with family or friends, and traveling in groups when possible.
Important reminders there. There's still a lot we don't know, and it's what the family we spoke to says as well. They're looking for answers as well. Her cousin says she's grateful, though, for all the support.
A powerful day in Brunswick and across Georgia yesterday as people celebrated the very first Ahmaud Arbery Day, 2 years after 3 men murdered him. A park in Brunswick now dedicated to Arbery's life and family and friends. Activists also held a prayer vigil in the Satilla Shores area where he was shot and killed. The day comes on the heels of the historic federal hate crime conviction of the men already convicted in Arbery's murder. Those 3 men now face the possibility of an additional life sentence, but most hate crimes in the U.S. are never reported to police. In fact, the DOJ says only 41% of violent hate crime victims tell law enforcement. That report covers 2015 to 2019. Many people who believe they were victims of hate crime say they didn't want to bother police. Many victims say they handled the matter through someone other than the police.
Well, we are one of the hottest spots in the nation, hitting highs in the mid to upper 80s, just about 30 minutes north of us, so they're in the 50s and 40s. We'll see how long that cool air sticks around just after the break.
Also ahead, a basketball player's three-pointer defies the laws of physics, and a live reporter gets photobombed by his own mom. Come on, Mom, I'm working here. That's coming up first at 5.
Time and temp.
News 1226, introducing the new standard in CSRA News, bringing you real-world information in a virtual environment, where your news, weather, and sports come to life in an unprecedented way. News 1226, on your side.
Okay, we've got a pair of eye-opening viral moments, one captured on the court.
The other caught on camera. Jeremy Roth has today's. Take a look at this.
A Virginia high school basketball player found a way to turn a blowout loss upside down.
Did he just do a backflip?
Christchurch senior Evan Randall went in the game's final moments with his team down by 40 points.
I wanted to make a memorable moment for myself as a senior. I used to be a cheerleader, so backflips was like a second nature to me.
Randall's coach said with the game well out of hand, he encouraged his players to leave it all on the court.
He literally took what I said. Just have fun. And he had fun.
The teen's acrobatic bucket has gone viral, even nabbing an ESPN shout-out, but for Randall, it was all about the memories.
I'm definitely going to remember this.
You can always count on Mom to be Mom.
This is my mom. Hold on.
WSYX reporter Miles Harris learned this the hard and hilarious way when his attempt at a live shot in Columbus, Ohio was interrupted by his proud mama who was just passing by.
I'm trying to work right now.
The cackling you hear is coming from cameraman D'Angelo Bird, who captured the embarrassing and endearing scene.
Did you record that?
Recorded and posted online, where the clip went viral, catapulting this dynamic duo into the national spotlight, catching the eye of multiple network talk shows.
I won't tell any dirt if I can get my mixer back. He uses my mixer, and then I don't see it for 6 months.
Like I said, you can always count on Mom to be Mom. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
And that's what happens. You're doing a stand-up out by the street. You never know who's going to come by. But it's Mom, and she's stealing the show.
Mom. Hi, baby.
Yeah.
He was, could you see the look on his face was like...
That's my mom. Were you recording that?
Were you recording that? Of course I was recording
He
that.
was, too. So we've gotten a lot of mileage out of that. But
yeah.
Riley, you ever been photobombed by Mom or Dad in a store?
No, I'm sure if we lived in the same place that I was working, she would be all on top of that. You gotta love the mother's love.
Yeah,
they are always there.
Always try to work in at least one market where Mom or Dad can watch.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but now what's great about when we stream our newscast?
Yep.
Mom or Dad can watch.
My mom watches every night from the cell phone on the app, so
there
she
you go.
streams it.
Yeah, do you ever get any comments about what you're wearing? Like, Riley, don't wear that tie again.
Not much.
That's
She's
good.
nice about that type
Okay,
stuff.
good.
Maybe you're
Other
doing it
people
right.
send me that type
There
of
you
stuff.
go.
Maybe you're doing it right.
Yeah, hopefully. But how about this? Look at the map behind me. We actually are one of the warmest places in the U.S. at the moment. We are warmer than Miami, Florida, New Orleans, desert Southwest. So we could actually claim the top spot of the hottest place in the U.S. today. There was a spot in South Florida that did get to 90, so we may be in second place, but very impressive out there. Take a look at this. Actually, a closer look at the two-state. Just a little bit to our north. 40s right now in Winston-Salem and Raleigh, North Carolina. They were at 50 in Charlotte. So that cooler air is all around us, but we are hanging on to very warm temperatures this afternoon. That likely will stick around at least through Friday afternoon. Our current temps still at 84 in Augusta, 83 right now in Evans. Other places west of Augusta staying in the upper 70s from Crawfordville down through Sandersville. Generally sunny skies and looking mostly clear the next several hours. We'll start to bring in a few more clouds heading into late tonight, but temperatures this evening staying in the 70s and 60s. So it is going to be a very mild February night for us. And overall, just going to watch these temperatures eventually get down to the upper 50s and low 60s by early tomorrow morning. Could be a little bit of fog out there again for the first part of your Friday, but with a little bit of wind overnight, that should help prevent too much in the way of fog development. For our Friday, we're expecting warm temps again, likely hitting the 80s for us here in Augusta. The difference tomorrow is that it is going to be a much breezier, very windy day on Friday. West winds will start to go between 12 to 18 miles an hour into the afternoon. Could see a lake wind advisory issued for tomorrow. High temps will be a little bit cooler west of Augusta heading into our Friday. So once again, a cold front's going to be moving our way. That cold front will arrive to our western counties first. So those places likely will stay in the 70s. As far as burning weather goes, did have a few burns out there. Had one out at SRS earlier this afternoon, a couple up towards the lake. Burning weather tomorrow looks even better, so we could continue to see some burns go on for our Friday afternoon. That mixing height up to 4,000, possibly even as high as 5,000 feet into the afternoon, and that transport wind will be much stronger tomorrow, so that could allow for just some burns that go on across the river region. Winds tomorrow, though, will be breezy, 12 to 18 miles an hour into the afternoon. Those will be out of the west on Friday. As we head into our Saturday, they turn more out of the northeast, and that's what's going to draw in that cooler air for the weekend forecast. I say cooler, but not overly cold. We'll stay in the upper 60s Saturday afternoon. Rain does still look likely on Sunday. Temps will stay cooler in the mid-60s, and that sunshine returns by early next week.
All right, thank you, Riley. Inflation is soaring, supply chains low, and markets are struggling. Americans bracing for the economic impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Details after the break.
The Live by Camera.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine could have a painful ripple effect all around the world. Here in the U.S., the stock market tumbled, and we might see price spikes from heating bills to grocery stores. Elise Preston breaks down the effects.
Americans woke to the sign of war in Europe as Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine, and the shockwaves may be on their way here to the pump, where drivers are already facing the highest prices in years.
Are you concerned that it's going to keep getting worse?
Yeah, it probably will. I wouldn't be surprised if it does.
Russia supplies 10% of the world's oil, and the prospect of disruptions has driven the price over $100 a barrel for the first time since 2014. It's pushing gas prices up past $6 a gallon in Los Angeles County, with the national average already at $3.54 a gallon.
I was shocked to see the prices
Beyond the pain at the pump, higher gas prices can have a significant impact on the broader economy, translating to less travel, less eating out, and less shopping. With inflation already at the highest level in decades, the crisis could affect everything from automakers to grocery stores.
We also could see agricultural prices for wheat and corn because Russia and Ukraine are big exporters. And finally, we could see metal prices when we look at iron ore, we look at palladium used in those chips that we need in cars.
The White House is watching, but says larger issues are at stake.
Standing up for our values is not without cost. What we're trying to do is minimize that cost.
Rattled stock investors took a roller coaster ride. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 800 points at the open before rebounding on the upside, as traders contemplate what could be Europe's biggest land war since World War II. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York. These new developments could complicate the decision-making at the Federal Reserve, which has been planning to raise interest rates to control prices.
Grant me hope. Finding every foster child their forever home.
Breaking news out of Minneapolis this afternoon. A jury convicting 3 former police officers of violating George Floyd's civil rights. These 3 men were all there when Derek Chauvin kneeled on Floyd's neck. All 3 of them charged with depriving Floyd of his civil rights while acting under government authority. 2 of them faced an additional charge of not intervening to stop Chauvin from using excessive force. They each face up to life in prison, but that kind of sentence is extremely rare.
Well, lake plans tomorrow, we'll say on the warm side, we'll likely hit temps in the 70s at the lake for our Friday afternoon, but it will be getting a little bit breezier. West winds anywhere from 12 to 18 miles an hour, and it will be a little bit cooler by Saturday. For the weekend, our temperature is much more seasonal into the mid to upper 60s. Rain is still expected by Sunday, so plan accordingly for weekend plans. Next week, it does start off seasonal, but getting warmer again by the middle of next week.
All right, thank you, Riley. A hike in gas prices, cybersecurity concerns too. How Russia's invasion of Ukraine could impact you right here in the river region.
Investigate TV is here, digging deep into the topics that matter to you. Watch Investigate TV, Saturday nights at 11:30 on News 12.
Why do so many people in Augusta